Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Decisions Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be your host for today, Gregory Goldston, on Tuesday, August the 12th. And let's go over the stuff you see on your screen right here. Top right, we have our Decisions Training YouTube channel. Highly recommend taking a look at that. We've got a lot of different demos there as far as how to utilize message queue, Kafka module. We've got Excel steps, a whole bunch of other different things in there. So highly recommend taking a look, as well as we post videos showcasing the newest features on the newest releases of our platform there. So great resource. Also, you can see previous Lunch and Learns uploaded there. So if you want to remember how we answered something from a previous session, take a look. Below that, we have the Decision Solutions Marketplace, where you can bring in accelerator projects from the marketplace into your environment. This is free. You don't pay for any of it. And what these are ready-to-go projects that you can take apart, that you can look inside of and reverse engineer, that you can go into to try to understand how they work and implement those processes into your own. So highly recommend taking a look there. And then below that, we have the Decisions Product Roadmap Review. This is a series of meetings that you can sign up for at decisions.com/events, where you get sneak peeks at the stuff that's coming down the pipeline in the Decisions product. So recommend taking a look there if you want to see some of the stuff that's coming up. And then, of course, we got some MERS going on this week. You can still sign up at decisions.com/events. This is where you will be able to get access to the MERS registration, and you can even hop in the rest of today if you'd like, or just join tomorrow. Regardless, it's a good way to get familiar with the base tools of Decisions and build your knowledge base from there. So with all that being said, I'm going to move over to my Decisions environment now, and we're going to start addressing questions. So give me just a moment while I switch my screen share to something that actually looks a little bit more like Decisions, because it is Decisions. And here we go. Cool. All right, I'm seeing two things in the Q&A already. All right. We will go with Vitali's question first, and then we will address yours, Helmut. So question number one, how can I change the color of radio buttons and the checkbox list? That's a good question. Let's take a look over here, and I'll unmute you. I'm pretty sure I don't think much clarity is needed on this. It sounds very straightforward, but I'll unmute you anyway. And let me try to create a form and see if we can do that. So form radio test. And we want to check the radio buttons. There we go. And these will just be, I'll just call them radio. Slide that up. All right. And then we can display a list of items. Itemd in list. And then this will just be string items, static. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just something simple for us to see these over here. I guess we don't need all this space actually. There we go. Okay. So the question is, how do we change the color of these buttons? I'm assuming you mean like when a user clicks on them, it's not the default blue over here, right? It's something else.
Yeah, it's not blue, it's actually orange, and it doesn't match our colors. So I do know that there is a CSS property for radio input type, and it's accent color, I guess, but it didn't work for me. So I'm not sure which property should I use.
So the accent color is not working within the CSS properties. That's a good question. Let me check something real quick. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to move some stuff over. Don't mind me. Just confirming if I can find that answer directly.
And also the same stuff about the checkbox list. I know that you can change CSS for checkbox, but I'm not sure why is it different for checkbox list.
Hmm. Let's see here. I'm just trying to check some stuff here, make sure that there isn't something on this automatically before we start testing. I'm not seeing anything immediately. So for the checkbox, it's functioning, but for the other one, it's not. So like a checkbox list, right? Something like that.
Yeah, and the same, they are kind of like orange, default orange. I know that this depends on the browser. So it's kind of like I don't know how to say it. It's kind of like a browser dependent. So if you are from Safari,
Mm-hmm.
that looks different. If you're
Right.
from Chrome, that looks different. So it depends on browser.
Hmm. I don't know the property off the top of my head specifically. We can probably go CSS Inspector, or just use
It's
developer
an
tools.
input type. So for radio, it's like input type radio, but for that, you should be able to change it with the accent color, but it for some reason doesn't work.
Hmm. Quick question: which version of Decisions are you on? I might make sure this isn't like a bug for that version.
It's not a bug. It's been it's browser dependent. It's not a decision.
Okay, so we're wondering how we can make sure it's not browser dependent and actually, not just separated from that. So don't make it browser dependent. Make sure that's something that actually,
Well,
can be.
if I open that in Safari and that looks different, so that makes me think that it's browser dependent.
Right, right. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm trying to reach out and see if maybe this is something to I guess possibly put in like a DT or something like that as far as not having these be browser dependent, right? Having CSS that can apply regardless of what browser you're using.
Yes, just like you've done with the checkbox. It
Hmm.
used to be browser dependent, but now you can apply CSS to checkbox.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if that's something that we can put in. If it's going to be browser dependent, let me just see how this looks real quick. We'll run this in a flow and then we'll run it in, I guess, another browser. Give me just a moment here. All right, and yeah, it's going to be that orange color that highlights it. There's going to be a hover color as well, and these get that default black check mark. Let's I'm going to try and run it in another browser real quick. Give me just a moment while I pull that up. It's not on the screen yet. Give me just a moment to pull this up. All right, and then here's our second browser. We're going to run this again. Oh, you know what? That's my fault because I didn't save this. That's why there's no path. There we go. All right. Now let's try this again. These look the same here.
I do believe if you would have Safari in Safari, checkboxes are kind of blue.
Okay, so maybe something outside of both of these two. I don't have Safari immediately on what I'm working with right now. But yeah, I'll look into that and see if that can be something that can be altered so that's not browser dependent as far as the CSS that gets applied to it. No, that makes sense. I will. I also want to check that. I just don't have the tools to check individual browsers. I do, but not. I don't have Safari on me right now. But no, I'll take a look at that, Vitali. Let me see if I can get some more information on that and see if this has come up before. This doesn't seem like something that would be new.
Do I need to submit a support ticket for that?
Honestly, possibly, just to make sure they can go in your environment and see that behavior, right? Because that would be kind of what that's designed for. It you don't I can still reach out about, but honestly, to make sure that someone can see exactly what you're seeing in your exact environment, I would recommend a support ticket.
Well, my point is that can I change that from orange to be something like our color scheme?
Without CSS, right? Or well, with hold on. Order transfer. I'm just curious if there's anything that we can do in here real quick. Well, that's going to be
Oh,
a label. That's not going
yeah,
to.
that's gonna be applicable to the label.
Yeah, that's not going to do that. That's what I was just checking. And then I don't think there's a separate one. Sometimes these font attributes have multiple different ones that you can change, but it doesn't look like that's going to do it right here. And then items CSS class, items CSS class, container CSS class. Just want to make sure there's nothing by default. Use form font for label. Yes, it's copyable. This is all for the label. That's not going to help. And then, yeah, we have both behavior in that drop down. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can figure out the CSS class that you're seeing here real quick. So let me exit out of this, go into here. Oh, it still thinks I'm logged in with the other one. Let's see here.
Just click on that top left.
Yeah, the selector.
And yeah, and select the one of those. Yeah, select that.
Yeah.
Can you run it in the flow?
Can I? Oh, yeah. It'll be looking different. Either that or preview. There we go. So now we can click on the exact one. Yeah.
Label and then after label input type radio.
Radio button. Yeah. Value 1, index 0, style float left margin.
So that input type radio, that makes it browser dependent. Input type.
Input type?
Mm-hmm. And if you, I mean, typically you can apply accent color to that, but it doesn't work for some reason to this input type. So if you click on that input type, yeah, and in the styles, can you expand so you can see styles?
Already did.
Not the layout on the bottom where you see that panel styles, computer layout. Click on styles. Bottom panel. Yeah, where you see styles.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you add accent color to like top level, that should change. If you type accent color,
Yep.
yeah, and type something like blue or something like that.
I didn't mean to do that. Hold on.
And type something like blue or whatever. After column.
Yeah, I know. When it's clicking out, it's like putting me on the next line below it for some reason. See how it keeps opening and closing? I'm trying to get it. It's not clicking correctly. That's what I'm trying to say. Accent color. There we go. And then we'll pick
Just
a
have
blue.
to, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't change, but it should change.
Yeah. Have we added an important tag on this?
Yeah, you can try, but then it's not gonna work.
Okay, okay. I think we're going to add it afterward, right? Where's my... Does not like me, does it? Nope, not up there. Over here. Oh, does it come beforehand? Is that what it is? Interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure why it's not overriding that. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can figure out why it's not doing that. If it is a browser dependent thing and why it would be browser dependent instead of actually, you know, adhering to the CSS that we're giving it. No, good question. Okay. I'm going to go on to the next one because I will need to figure out what's going on there. I'm going to have to talk to some people about that. Helmet. The next question is it possible to say formatted rich text to a data structure string field and then maintain that formatting when displaying it at a later time? And then question number 2, is it possible to create drop-down menus on the top bar of a dashboard? The action buttons is what I think they're called. To answer your second question, absolutely. To answer your first question, let's allow you to talk. So we are trying to save formatted rich text to a string structure. I don't know if we can save it to a string structure, but I think we do have other structures that can do that. So let's try this real quick. And then
Basically what I'm trying to accomplish is my users want to be able to configure emails that get sent out. And so I'd like to be able to pass a body into an email step, right, that has everything kind of already, you know, if they go into another form and they set the text with a certain amount of formatting, then if I just save it and then pass it into the email, I'd like it to try and, you know, display as it was.
well, for that, you should be able to use the merge text editor and alter the formatting with your variables, right?
Yeah, but I just need to be able to capture the formatting that a user inputs and then save it and then display that formatting.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because
So,
they want to be able to preserve the formatting if they format it in such a way.
quick question. How are you capturing what the user is putting in?
I'm not sure right now, just kind of working on it. I mean, I think obviously I couldn't do any, it would have to be a form probably from a rich text field box.
That's what I was thinking as well. So, rich text.
And then I just assumed that if you saved that output into a regular string field in a data structure, that it probably wouldn't maintain the formatting.
Let's see here. And then if they put that in, it's not going to have a static input, default font size, and then send plain text rules. Yeah, I guess if we're running rules, we want plain text, not the rich text. But hold on, let's check something real quick. We're actually going to disconnect the send email and just run what this does real quick. So. And then we'll change the thing to Comic Sans and then hit done. And now the output of this data rich text. Yeah, all right. So look how it's storing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's I think we might be able to pass that into merge HTML and get that. Let me confirm that real quick. So with a send email step, let's put some constants here. Unfortunately, since I've installed this new decision server, I actually don't have an SMTP server currently
I know, yeah,
configured
not a problem.
on it. And then merge HTML. If we do that, if we just pull from the rich text, which is stored as a string, I do wonder if that would capture the data correctly. So yeah, the input is going
Yeah.
to look like this as far as the body with the merge HTML. So I think I would need to set up an SMTP server to confirm if actually passing it in this way is going to function like we're hoping.
But I guess
Gregory,
my
on the email step, you can just say do not strip out HTML things and send body as an HTML, and that will work.
Don't check this, right? Don't
Yeah.
clean up HTML.
Gotcha.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that will work.
Yeah.
So then if I take the output of the rich text form there and I, save that into a case entity structure into a string field, and then if I in a different flow retrieve that case entity, map that string field into an email, will it have preserved that HTML?
It should preserve that. I'm concerned about the font, but not like the italics
Bullets
and the
and that kind
bolding.
of stuff.
Yeah. The font I will need to check. I'm gonna need to run some sort of email server and figure that out. But
Yeah.
that would be my first thought.
Okay.
Is that
No,
probably
and
passing in like this.
okay, so and there's not like there's not a special data structure that holds rich text or something, or data type.
There are some certain data types kind of designed depending on what you're doing, but it's not like, oh, you want to pass merge text, always use this.
Yeah.
Like for example, one of them is the what is it? When you're setting variables like project variables, you have the ability to actually pass in one as a merged like a rich text type.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't think that would be how it works here. I'm pretty sure you would just pass it in and make sure
Turn
on your
that.
settings,
Yeah.
don't clean up HTML. And then you have the ability to just send the raw HTML too. I don't think that's what you're looking for, but just so you know.
Gotcha.
Another thing you could do is if you're trying to pass out the emails in certain ways, you could give it a default email template as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just create those in the project and then, be able to pass those around.
Okay. And if you don't have another question, then you can do the second one, or if you do, you can skip it.
I'm going to address the second one while we're here, and then we'll come back to Vitaly's question, which was after yours. But this is is it possible to create drop-down menus in the top bar of a dashboard? Yes. What I want to ask, though, is what kind of stuff are you trying to create in the drop-down? Are you making a drop-down of the available actions, or are you creating like new actions that you're trying to put here?
It would be basically what the user wants is they don't want the left side navigation, right? How you would normally kind of build folders and a structure and that kind of stuff. They would like to be able to navigate their application from a top level menu. So it wouldn't necessarily be actions per se, but rather, a drop down that says, navigate to this dashboard or navigate to this page on this dashboard.
You might want to run Flowpart here.
And then just use like a navigate to folder kind of thing from there.
Yep. I mean, you can do navigation as well. So let me, here's the reason I'm suggesting flow run part.
Okay.
You'll get to run a form inside of it that you can style with any sort of CSS, right, that you want and how you want
But
this
they
drop
don't
to
want
look.
any form. They just basically want to have their nav bar be on the top of the dashboard. So you know how there's the colored where kind of the pages show, right? And then
Yes.
there's an action bar, which is white and it has buttons on there. It would be on one of I think it would be on the action bar or the pages part. But they just want to be able to navigate through their application there.
I
So
got you.
I'm wondering if it has, yeah.
This is what we're looking for right here.
Page context aware flow.
Let's see if I remember how to do this. It's been a little bit. So we're going to have some sort of thing here. This is going to be an end form session. This is going to navigate us to decisions.com, or it can just navigate us somewhere else in the portal, right? That's what
Yeah,
we're
and
looking for.
I'm in 8.22 if it matters, but
You have access to this.
cool.
Yeah. This. I don't think there's been many updates to this. I think the only thing they changed on this is one of these like open portal and new window or something works better, but you have access to all the basic stuff here.
Okay.
So let's go to navigate. Navigate's going to ask for a folder ID and a page name. So let's create one real quick. So I'm going to create a page that is just called Go Here. Save it. I'm not even going to add anything to it. The whole point is the navigation part. Public folder. Go here. Save that. Right click, add a page. Go here. Okay. So it's called Go Here. And then let me copy this folder ID real quick. Copy that. Go over here. Where's my, yeah, here we go. So folder ID, pass that in. This can be more dynamic as well, depending on
Sure.
what you need. And then page name should be Go Here. Save that, right click, save now. Let's see if I remember how to add this action real quick. So it's over here, right click, add flow as action, pick flow, run flow, action name. I picked the wrong flow behavior. That's what it is. Hold on. Action name is Go Here. It's not showing up because I picked the wrong flow behavior. Give me a moment. Let me
Yeah, you're good.
recreate that real quick. Yeah, it's not, okay, so it's not the user context aware flow. What was it? Action? Let me just search up action real quick. User action flow folder aware. That's it. Okay, now let's use that end form session step. Drag that over here. Move that. Go over here. We want to navigate, folder ID, constant, page name. Go here, save that. And now let's go back to here. Right click, add flow as action. There it is. And then action name is going to be Go Here.
And that display type there, okay, so that's perfect. And then see how on the far right of that action bar, you have that all with the arrow. Can you create like kind of drop down menus like that to choose from? So like if you had, instead of Go Here, you could just have one button that said, you know,
See how it shows
navigate,
up in
and
the
then-
all over here?
Right.
Right. So what you would do is on the page that's going to be displayed. I should probably create another page here real quick, actually. Hold on. Create folder, main dashboard. I'm actually going to add it to this one instead of the other one. We'll remove the other flow as action. This will be the Go Here one. Okay. So main dashboard, we have Go Here, right? This is going to be the folder data. I haven't added a page to this yet, which is why it's not showing up. So let's see, add page, pick page, dashboard options, click here, save, dashboard options. This is going to show up Go Here. And then when I click on that, you'll see that it goes to my other one, right? So that navigates. Now,
Right.
the trick to this on the main dashboard, and I'm going to go over here and under edit page data, is you're going to want to hide some actions. Let me delete this real quick. We don't need this anymore. So you have, let's see if I recall exactly how to do this. How to edit the dropdown. The dropdown by default has the all action on the top, right? As far as all of them. I believe you hide the other actions available and then drag it. Let me confirm. I'm trying to remember exactly how this worked.
I do want to hide actions in that all drop down, but I'd like to be able to create my own drop downs in addition to that all. So now you can create a button in that action bar, but if I had multiple buttons up there, could I kind of stack them into a drop down like all is right there?
Right. Display
Is
type,
it that
primary,
display type?
secondary. if it's a secondary action, it should fall underneath of that category. Here, give me just a moment. Click me, pick flow. It's going to do the same thing. Yeah, click me falls under that sort of category.
So it just
You
makes
can
it, yeah,
categorize actions. Let me see if I remember this. I'm going to try something real quick.
sure.
Okay. I'm going to say A-1. Pick the same thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really care what flow it is.
Mhm.
And then let me create A.2. Does that categorize the name? That is the question. And then can I edit this? Get user folder action ID, edit action, play part primary, run flow, browse dependencies more, manage tags, move to project, manage tag, and it's not tags. I might need to look up how to do this again.
No problem.
Jeremy mentions he can show you how to hide the default actions, which is just on the page level, by the way. You should be able to do that, but I'll allow
In one of the
Jeremy to talk real
configs,
quick.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to create, can't think of what it's called. If you go under your,
Is it an action visibility rule?
it is, but you have to create it for the default folder type.
Uh-huh.
So create a data type integration. And then database integration. First. No, configuration extension, sorry.
Yeah, like a folder extension or an
And
entity
then
extension.
add folder actions and configuration. And then you select the default folder.
I think you clicked the wrong one. This is the folder behavior.
That's the one we want.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called default folder. There, go up there.
Right
It
here.
should be that one.
Now you're gonna have that.
And you'll have a configuration folder for it. If we,
There we go.
and then you can do your action visibility rule.
Right up here. You create
And
it,
then-
and then yeah, you specify what to filter out.
Gotcha.
Yep. So this is how you hide the other actions. As far as creating your own dropdown that is not on the actual page itself, but on that folder, well, you should be able to add an add action for that, right?
Yeah, well, you see how create page has a little arrow that you can click multiple. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yep. Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to create that on the top here real quick. I'm not remembering the exact steps off the top of my head.
Do you know if it's possible though?
Yes.
Okay.
It is absolutely possible.
Okay.
That is definitely something you can do. I just don't
Yeah,
recall.
million things. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. No, but yes, you can absolutely do that. You see, this is made in decisions, right? If you can do it
Yeah.
here, you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Okay.
not an issue. Here's how, let me show you how this works real quick and why I'm trying to remember how to do this. So, when you're inside of the folder designer, where is it? It's actions. I think it's, let me drag over report grid here real quick. This just to show you, where is it? Hide certain actions. I'm looking for the actions part. Give me just a moment. It might be behavior action. Ah, here we go. You see how you have filter actions by categories and by names, right?
Yep.
So actions have categories. When you have different actions with the same category, they're going to get put together under the same dropdown. So what I'm trying to remember is how to categorize those actions that we create so they're all under that same dropdown.
I got you.
Yep. You can do it for any one of these action controls, which allows you folder actions, right? These are all the actions that you would have on the folder itself. You can
Mhm.
search the action type. You have the behavior as well. Where is it? Actions report bar, run current folder action. Report, view report, show all button. Yeah, and then you can filter them here. You can add action filters, and then you can actually specify what categories you want to filter out or what action names you want to filter out. But this is all on the page itself, and I'm not remembering how to do it on the folder itself. It might be under that folder configuration extension, honestly,
And
because
you
you
have to like
can
right
create
click it and
actions in that
set
way.
a configuration there. Yeah.
Right. So you can add actions. And when you do that, where is it? Yeah, so you'd set up an action here that would be able to be utilized on that particular one. So if I do the go here now on that folder, I should have. Set classification info,
Yeah,
category
there you
name. Yeah,
go.
here we go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This is what we're looking for. So this is what
How you would basically categorize them.
right.
And
But
then
I'm
that would
trying to
create the-
recall, yeah, where these are located in here. Yeah, it's not showing up on the default here. Let me explore this a little bit more and get back to you with a solid answer. But the answer is yes, you can do it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Grant, yes, once I figure that out, I will absolutely let you know as well as far as the drop down to be able to navigate in that way. As far as creating your own, not just filtering out the other ones from the all drop down. Okay. We got another question here from Vitali, and he left. But the other question from Vitali is, can we apply visibility rules or components on a dashboard / page? Yes, absolutely. For the components, no. So that is to say, if I have a dashboard that is displaying certain functions, can I hide certain controls on the dashboard based upon the user that is displaying it? You're not able to do that. You can kind of use workarounds on it, but you can't use a true visibility rule. And what I mean by that is, let's go back into our page over here that we created. So let's say that you have a form that gets displayed here with a flow run part, all right? The flow run part will run automatically when the user enters this particular dashboard. I'm going to create a new one right here. And all it's going to do is it's going to display a form to the end user. Nothing else more than that. So let's pick our form. Let's pick our radio button test. And then we're just going to exit this, save this. Actually, I want to make that a little bit smaller just for the designer width to work out. So let's make this like 400. And let's see how that goes. And I'm going to drag this over here, extend it. We don't need the bottom part really. Delete this, save that. Actually, I like that at the bottom there. Save that, exit. All right, and then I'll show you how this operates real quick. All right, and then we go to our main dashboard and ta-da, there's our form already running right in that little box, so we can just execute it. Now, you can, because you're running a flow, run a check to the initiating user, determine what group they're in, and say, hey, if they're in this group, display this form instead. So because of that, you do have ways that you can configure what different users see on the same dashboard, but it is not a true action visibility rule. If you're looking for that, it would be better just to navigate different user groups to different dashboards. Again, I know he left, but at least to answer your question, Vitali, that's how you manage that. Either one, you make some sort of form components that can be updated, such as ones that are run with flows, or you want to just send them to different dashboards. Most people opt for the second option, but you can technically do the first one. So for example, I could have a flow that says if initiating user is admin@decisions.com, show a different form instead here. And then as soon as they ran this dashboard, they would see that. I'll actually create that. I got a little bit more time, and this will give us some time if any more questions come in. So let's make. Oh, yes.
I do have a question, although that is super useful for me. So if you want to continue along this line, that'd be awesome. The question that I was going to ask is, could you show me how to do like if I put an icon next to a field, and then have if people can mouse over that icon and get a tooltip. That's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish. I know you can do tooltips on like an input field, but I'm wondering if you can input it, if you can put an icon on a form and have it do it that way.
Icon on a form. Let's see here. So
You know how sometimes on a field form you'll have like a little eye next to the input field, and you can kind of mouse over and it'll show you, okay, this is the information that we're trying to put in this input field.
yes.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about. Let's see here. Do we have a control like that immediately? What would it be called?
There's like the tooltip functionalities and stuff, but I don't know if there's an easier way or a different way to do that.
As far as hovering over like a little thing and seeing information about it,
Yeah,
right?
so like on most controls, there's a configuration called help at the bottom that you can basically
okay.
set tooltips there in the back end, and then when they mouse over the control field, it will display that tooltip. But I guess
You want a little icon instead that
yeah,
does
like
that,
just a
right?
little icon, yeah. If that's
Oh,
fine.
and honestly, probably the easiest way to do that
Like a
would
little
be
image.
to, just do a very small image over here. So hold on, let me get a grid layout so we'll make that smaller.
Oh, and it does have the help configuration right there. I got you.
Yep. So we could do that. And then I think if I add one more column, that's probably, that's about the size I'm looking for. We'll extend that down. Info, use a static image, pick
Yeah.
something like this or this, right? So I'm gonna make this kind of a gray, pick that. That's what that looks like. And then the
Perfect, yeah.
help right over here. So now if we run that on our main dashboard, right? Oh, interesting. It's not displaying.
I wonder if there's restraints on.
You have to configure it
Functionalities.
in the back end
Oh,
before it'll
that's
show
right.
up.
But he just did a static one.
That's just, you can statically specify the name of the help text
Oh, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
instead of so what he put in there was just calling something that doesn't exist.
So you got to go to the settings then, and the
Yeah.
backend settings and do it. I got you. Okay.
Which one is it set for these? I'm trying to remember. This isn't the ignore one, right? Trying to recall how to do this.
It's like in the backend. Like there's and where the constants are in the
And
settings.
system settings,
Yeah.
System settings and constants.
system data. I'm pretty sure.
And then
Help.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to
And
do
then
it
you
this
would add
way,
a
yeah.
help key here. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So this would be my tool tip, right? And then it would fetch that specifically. Add a help key, my tool tip, and then
And you select that on
yeah.
Okay. It's not a hard one.
No, honestly, I have never done this before. This is really cool. I've never been, so this is really neat. So let's go back over here, edit that wrong one. Yep, no, this is the right one. No, wait, wrong one. There we go.
I think you click pick help message key and it'll give you a drop down of all the possible ones.
My tooltip. Save that. Now let's see this in action. Lovely. Here we go.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So you can do something like that, yes. And you can set it up over there. And then as far as the other thing I was talking about with dynamically changing these forms out, I'll go into the flow logic for that real quick. So create a very simple rule here. Input data. It's going to be user, save that. And then give me a moment. User. And then you could say contains like, you know, the domain here. Something like that. If it does contain the domain, we will run a different show form, right? Pick this, pick existing, and then rich text form instead. And that will be the one that will actually be displayed. I think the 400 width worked pretty well to fit there. So let me do that again. There we go. Save that, save that, save that. And then exit. Oh, wait. Flow data, initiating user email. There we go. That's what I want. So now I'm currently logged in as admin at decisions.com. So if I go to that dashboard, oh, did I edit the wrong flow? Because I might have picked we had two that were kind of like, yeah, flow two, wrong one. Oh, well, we'll just pick another flow instead. Exit, pick existing. Flow one was the one that I just edited. Save that. Confirm this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. All right. Exit, save. Yes, refresh the dashboard, save. Okay, look, now I'm on the rich text because that's the one that I got assigned as someone from
Gotcha.
the decision.
Okay.
So different people can come in and see a different form. Again, just navigating them to different dashboards might be easier a lot of the time because you don't have to do it with all the other form controls, but this is some functionality you can get. I've actually used something like this for a different run flow part for certain filters. So when a user logged into a dashboard, it would filter it for that user automatically, but they had a drop down that they could filter it for other people. So they could still see other people's data if they want to. It wasn't a thing where you shouldn't be able to see others, but it automatically filtered it for them when they first loaded the page.
Are there any constraints when utilizing forms on a dashboard like this, or are you pretty much free to do whatever you could do on a form just here on a dashboard?
You can use pretty much anything on a form on a dashboard. Just keep in mind that it's show form, not an assignment, right? This isn't a
Right.
user completing an assignment for a task. It's
Yes.
not, it's just for doing some stuff with data. This can still save data in the flow. This can still pass data into the rest of these controls as report parameters and filter them.
Okay.
That's what I think a lot of people utilize these for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or most times, just for better UI design, this is a kind of a quick tip on this. Having it display already, people assume, okay, this interacts with the rest of my data here, right? When
Right.
they see it here, they don't think this is a separate process. So typically, if you do want something to be a separate process, like they initiate something, you'd
Mhm.
probably want a button like a run flow, right? So that way they
Yes.
see, okay, this form shows up here. This is clearly doing something else separate from this. This may get affected by it, but it's not tied into it. Versus this, they think, oh, this I bet touches everything else on the form. And setting up stuff that would touch everything else in the form would be best for this kind of
Mhm.
control.
If you have the time, could you run through a flow run part that displays? Could you possibly display like a repeater row?
Yes, you can display a repeater row inside of here.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And then have that be the whole dashboard, if you wanted it
You
to.
could, yeah, you could do that instead of using a report viewer. You could have a thing that runs a repeater. Now,
Yeah.
keep in mind, as soon as I hit done on this, it's going to hit the end step, and once it hits the end step, it reruns the exact same form again.
Mm.
Yep. Well, I guess I need to put something in first, but then it just ran the same
Just
form
starts
again.
over again. Yeah.
Yep. So this doesn't actually stop at any point. Unless you have that's why some people loop it around and do certain things with it.
Uh-huh.
But as far as a repeater goes, you don't actually have to have an outcome on this kind of form when it's inside of here.
Okay.
I know they'll throw errors, but you can always hide it and just make it not visible to the user or just not add one.
Yeah,
And it
because I'm
was-
trying I'm trying to find a way to basically build off more functionality than the inline editing is available on reports, right?
Mm,
So like a lot of websites have advanced data grids where you can have drop downs inside of cells and then you can alter the tabular data that way.
mhm.
Whereas in decisions, we only have like the inline editing of a single string field, right? So
That is changing here soon. There have already been some additional functionalities being added to that advanced data grid for that
cool.
reason.
Okay.
Yeah, like in 9.13, we've already added the was it the custom user actions, which I can go into that right now actually real quick. Let's go into one of our flows. Actually, do I already have it configured in here? I don't. All right. So let's go into one of our flows over here. Let's go into this one. There is an option now inside of an advanced data grid that allows for the user to have multiple actions that they can select as a calculated column. Here, let's go with the count. That's fine. Input data name, and then we got to edit this. So right down here, you have these calculated columns. It is the custom actions field. That's what it's called. You can add multiple different actions in the exact same row that are all icons. And when you click them,
I see.
they
Yeah.
work similar to the run flow inline field, but there's a key difference. In the run flow inline field, you don't have access to the form data. This does. So
Wait,
that
say that again, because the form data? What do you
the
mean by that?
form data. Let me talk about that. So active form flows have access to the form data where they can make changes to the different components, right? You have your set control value. This particular calculated column has access to that same data on the form that you're running it, meaning that this grid, this advanced data grid, can now interact with other form components.
Mhm. I think I understand.
It's a pretty big deal because that means if I create an action flow over here, typically this would just be separated from the hold on, let me edit the flow. This would just only be able to work with the selected rows, right? Like other stuff when you're creating a run flow inline field. However, you also have access to form data here. So you have access to all of the other buttons like the rich text box, the done one, or any other form component I have.
Okay.
Yep, this is the first flow that behaves like this, where it has actions to both the selected row as a run flow inline field would or a flow inline field would, and to the form data.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this is we don't exactly have the drop down portion yet inside of this. There are some new controls coming up, but that's not something that's currently in the platform. So as far as what you're talking about, you could absolutely display a data repeater inside of here and then put that inside of the dashboard.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right.
That's
Well,
good for me.
yeah, cool. I do not see any more questions in here, and we've had a few people drop out. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all very much for attending, and I'll be running tomorrow's as well. So I'll see you all then.